Welcome to the penultimate stop in the Superpowered Love reading tour, otherwise known as the Sleeping Doggo stop. So if you get bored with me, you can watch my dog be cute while she sleeps. So today, well, on every stop I'm reading from a different book, and today I'm going to do In Distress, which is a short one, and part of the Misconnection series that Lucid did, but it's also a Superpowered Love book. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the blurb for In Distress, and then I'm going to read like a tiny little section from the very beginning of it. But on every stop I'm reading from a different book, and this is all in honor of The Takedown, which came out on the 6th of June, I think. It wasn't that long ago. And from Lucid, and is now available, so check that out. Information's in the posts somewhere down there. Alright, but I can't read from The Takedown at every stop because that would be weird. So I'm just gonna do In Distress here. And hopefully it'll amuse. Hopeless romantic Eddie Kim acts out his favorite rescued by the White Knight fantasies through weekly D&D campaigns, but had almost given up hope of ever getting a real one. Then Callum, a mysterious redhead with freezing superpowers and a memorable kiss, saves him from a house fire. I'm sorry, the word fire was missing from that for some reason. Saves him from a house fire, but disappears without a trace. Taking pity on him, Eddie's friends look to Craigslist to relocate his hero. Always a good plan. Unfortunately, the publicity brings down the kind of attention Callum Race has been trying to avoid. He's in town to clear his family name, and now the dangerous, superpowered organization he needs to thwart know he's come home again. Still, he can't help following up with Eddie. The heat between Callum and Eddie flares instantly, and Eddie insists on helping to undo the damage his romantic notions have done. The problem? That will mean becoming embroiled in a nefarious plot, not to mention a superpower world Eddie didn't even know existed a week ago. The bad guys will try to trick and use him, and in the meantime he has to convince Callum to trust him enough to be the White Knight for once, and for real, instead of the perpetual damsel in distress. Alright, so I'm just going to do the very, very beginning of the book because it tells you everything you need to know about Eddie, really. So, here we go. In Distress. You cool back there? She's cool. When Gloria showed me the apartment, she said, "Eddie, sweetie, we're redoing the whole kitchen. Don't even sweat it, okay?" And I said, "The whole kitchen? Oh, no. No. You have got to let me keep that old stove. It's adorable." With lots of italics, just like that, because Gloria is just one of those people who inspires others to talk in random italics. So maybe I'll just blame the fire on italics. Because that stove, oh my god, I don't know what even happened, but it set some shit on fire about 6 months later. And there I was, sleeping like a cliche baby on my futon, dreaming about that guy who plays Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, about him crawling up that giant ice wall with my thighs wrapped around his waist, saving me from the attacking wildlings, me shifting my hips, gotta keep warm on the wall somehow, and whispering into his ear, "Faster, baby, winter is coming." I have weird dreams sometimes. The point is that I probably would have died if someone hadn't hauled me to my feet, which I also thought was a dream, but no. The first thing I noticed was that the hands pulling me around were large and gloved, and freezing cold even through the leather. Or maybe I was just hot because I was sweating and having trouble breathing. But then I shivered violently. "You're okay, just come with me," said the voice attached to the hands. My feet slipped on inexplicable ice. The strong, gloved hand steadied me, and the voice said, "Shit, sorry." Then my feet were wet, but it wasn't so slippery, and I could walk. And some guy in a black hoodie and leather gloves led me out of my smoke-filled apartment in the middle of the night. As we turned to the hallway, flame flared up at the end. He held out a gloved hand. By the firelight, I saw frost spread in a flash over the wall and floor, snuffing out the flames. I shivered again and decided I was still dreaming. And if I took this guy's hood off, it was clearly going to be Jon Snow. Maybe I should jump on his back. He tugged me out into the rattly wrought iron porch and started down the equally rattly stairs. He was tall, taller than me, which isn't saying much, but still, with broad shoulders and slim hips. It was a perfect swimmer's build, but he moved like he didn't realize it, with an almost adolescent awkwardness. "Don't you have a fire alarm?" he asked. "It needs a battery," I said, dazed. There was a small streetlight in the parking lot below, and the moon was out, and all I could smell was melting plastic. Now my brain was finally waking up. Oh God, this is real. My apartment was on fire, is on fire, was on fire. And this guy put it out with, what the hell did he just do? Who the hell is he? Oh my God, this is not Jon Snow. Well, consider getting one. The voice was mild and somehow equally awkward, but far from adolescent. I'll call you an ambulance. I have to get out of... But I wasn't having that crap by then. Adrenaline had belatedly kicked in, and I grabbed for his arm and spun him. He was pale, possibly with a sprinkling of freckles, but I couldn't see his hair under the hood. I could see his lips, palest pink and plump, especially the bottom one, which looked like someone had bitten it hard and the swelling had never gone down. Nice bone structure, too. Nothing supermodel or delicate, but hard, straight lines and angles. For some reason, it made me think football hooligan. He was pretty, but the kind of pretty that'd still be scary in a fight. And he'd probably just saved my life. I had a million questions. Chiefly, why the hell were you in my apartment when it was on fire? But my heart was racing with the sudden acknowledgement of my own ridiculous mortality. I had somehow forgotten the words, thank you. So I grabbed the front of his hoodie, went up on my toes, and kissed him. Because that's what the damsel in distress does when he gets rescued from the tower, right? I did mention I'd just been torn out of sleep in bed by an apartment fire and a stranger in my room, right? I was a little confused, so I was just going with the subconscious here. I still say I was not wrong. He froze. It's a funny turn of phrase because those beautiful lips felt like he'd been sucking on an ice cube all night. But they gave quickly enough, and he reached out and grabbed my t-shirt just above the waist of my boxers, like he was trying to steady himself. I tilted my head and pressed it up, priding my lips with his. Half of me was waiting for him to punch me. Maybe it was the football hooligan pretty thing. But he went with it, tilting to match, chest suddenly rising as if he'd been holding his breath, then falling as he pressed it into mine. And God, he was really, really cold, even through his clothes. Another question. How the hell did he do the frost thing? Gnawed at me as the sensations of him, real and alive and frigid against me, let me know he was absolutely not a figment of my imagination. But when he opened his mouth a little more, let my tongue in, sucked gently at the tip of it in a way that sent electricity leaping through my veins, suddenly all I could think was how warm he was inside. I couldn't help it. I let out a little hum and put an arm around his neck. He pulled back suddenly, eyes wide. In the bad light, they seemed kind of like a midnight blue. I accidentally moved his hood enough to tell. I'll slap my ass and call me Sally, he's a redhead. I'd been lazily getting there, but wow, insta-boner. He let me go and yanked the hood back up, then lowered his head. I'll call 911 for you. Please, don't tell them I was here. He lifted his gaze, met mine. I nodded. I wasn't sure why. He just looked scared, so I did. Still, I had just enough presence of mind to say, but you were my... I wasn't, I swear. I mean, I was, but not until I smelled the smoke, and the doorknob was hot, so he dropped his gaze again and stepped backward into the shadow of the building. Are you sighing at me? Excuse her. Please. Sorry, this is Callum talking. I interrupted for the dog. Please, please do not mention me, especially not the frost. Please. Okay. I stood there, way too baffled to even go after him when he took off down the street. And then I guess the smoke inhalation caught up with the adrenaline, because I sat down on the steps and started coughing like a lung was trying to come up. So that's the opening to In Distress, which is book 6. The Playhouse is book 7, and The Takedown is book 8. You can read them in any order. Doesn't matter. I heard Riot Boy is good to start with, and it is the one book that there's later character crossover. But actually, this book, In Distress, gets a mention in The Takedown, too, if you... There's a lot of weird little Easter eggs in The Takedown, but you don't have to have read them to get most of them. So, be sure and comment on the post and enter the Rafflecopter giveaway that's down below in the post. That will be done towards the end of the month. at least a week from today. I can't remember exactly what the date is. And it has some really cool stuff, and it has a t-shirt that will be sized for you. It has their Superpowered Love notebooks that are really cool. Some swag, and a personalized print book, whichever print book I happen to have hanging out in my office. I will write whatever you want in it and graffiti it up, or, you know, not graffiti it up if you prefer. It's your book. You can tell me what to do with it. And that's international. You can get it anywhere that you can get post, I guess. No big deal. So check that out. Enter. Yeah, and I guess that's it. And there's only one more stop. So I think I'm reading from Nobody's Hero in that one, which is book 3. And so for me and Sleepy over here, that's Daisy. Bye. Thanks for watching.